Right, looks like we are loading up and going live. How's everybody doing? Melissa, it was mentioned earlier that eventually we will be able to have CC and BCC with emails. Still true? Good question. Let's see if Sean is in the house yet, or if he's just got his avatar placeholding him. Hopefully we can get Varun in here today too.
Yeah, he's still on vacation, isn't he, Sean?
I think he's back.
Huh.
We were.
Well, I have another question
earlier, so I know he's around. Okay, go ahead.
The question around transferring a phone call. Is there a video, and I just haven't found it yet, on so if it comes in, let's say it comes in for Stephanie, or it comes into Stephanie's phone, but they really wanted to talk to me. Isn't there a way to soft transfer that? Or is that not?
Inbounds yet. So right now you can make a call out and then you could soft transfer it to somebody else.
Okay.
But until we build in the inbound calling, that's the only way that it works right now.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Hey, okay, Chase, I have a question if you don't mind.
Hey, fire away.
Yes, sir. And sorry, I'm currently in the car driving, so sorry about that. Not been able to pull on the camera or type in the question. But I had a question. I'm fairly new, and I had a question about checking in the client. You know how you can click up there and check in the client, and you can kind of send them a review, an email, or their phone number. But it seems like I was able to do that without them already being in my CRM. Do they have to already be in your CRM to actually, let's say a client walks in and they're brand new and they're not already in my CRM. Is there a way that I can just send that to them without them already being in there? If that makes sense.
That's a good question. Let me load up an account right now.
No, they don't have to already be in there.
You can just enter in a number, right? So if I hit check in client.
Yeah, and I remember it working that way, but all of a sudden now it does not, like I can type in a person's name, but it does not let me put in the phone number or the email. It only wants me to pull in.
Yeah, and I'm seeing the same thing. That field just blinks.
Well, yeah, let's get that to Dev ASAP.
Okay, let me document this real quick here. Okay. All right, cool. We'll get this over to the dev team. I think that's a bug. We'll have that fixed.
Okay.
But thanks for popping on. Did you have another question?
No, sir. That'll be all. That's going to be major for me. Thank you guys so much. You are appreciated.
Hey,
Thank
Sean,
you. Go for it.
I don't want to miss my question if he's here. Sean, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, so it was mentioned early on that at some point we'd be able to have a BCC and a CC for emails. Is that still the case?
Yep. We were all on track to do that, and then we got our AI stuff going on. So right now, think about it like this: we're trying to get through the AI, the workflow builder, and the email builder, all of which should be wrapped up by the end of October, and then we will get back on the sort of upgrade train, including the BCC.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so just log that bug. CB, who is the nice lady that helps with mailgun configs so that we can gain better deliverability? Kristen Rushman, I think, is who you're talking about. Let me see if I can grab her Facebook URL for you. Kristen. She spells her name a little differently, right? Anybody know? Chris. There she is.
That's K-R-Y.
Got it. Yeah. All right, CB, I'm throwing it into the chat. That's her Facebook URL. You can hit her up there. Steph, in campaigns, instead of having to calculate minutes and hours to have emails go out at specific times, which gets super hard and complicated if you have a lot of emails and text for an event, we are able to choose something like 1 day and 2 hours. and Monday, September 28th at 1 a.m., like in event start date. I don't think you could do the day selection because people roll into campaigns at any time, that's like a rolling process, but I think we could probably do the 1 day, 2 hours scenario.
Yeah, my thought process for the specific date and times is like when you have an event and you have stuff leading up to it. So instead of like I have a client right now that wants like 3 weeks worth of emails and texts, but all to go out at like different times because she has people all over the world. So she's doing like 1 a.m., 4 a.m., 8 a.m. And like it's just it could be easy to just be able to go on this day at this time instead of having to calculate it all. Just a thought.
Well, yeah, so that's the event start date time field. If you want to be able to program things leading up to a specific event, like a webinar.
She's saying she wishes she could just choose the date and time instead of trying to do the calculation herself.
Right. Math is hard sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know, Sean. You would be able to speak to that better than me. Is that how we could we accomplish
I'd say that's
that?
I think that's on the uber super duper long list.
Gotcha.
I think that's you're going to probably have to do a little bit of math for a while.
Okay, that's fine.
But it'll probably get easier as you do it.
Okay, thank you.
Iggy, how can I get an Australian Twilio number? You have to create what's called a bundle, and we have a help doc for that. Let me grab it. And Iggy, I'm going to shoot that to you in a DM. There you go. That will walk you through it. It's got a video too. It's just a couple of extra steps. Some countries require a little bit more information before you can get numbers. Australia being one of them. Martin, I have set up Twilio for a form which checks one of the fields, which is a drop-down field with 6 options. Oh, I've set up trigger, sorry. For a form which checks one of the fields, which is a drop-down field with 6 options. 5 of the 6 choices should all trigger the same actions, but it only allows you to select one option and trigger. So I had to set up 6 triggers. Yeah, that's the way it currently works. For the same form, can we change this as to have to replicate for a lot of clients? Sean, do you know if this will come with the new workflow builder? Will that address this?
I'm going to let Varun answer that one.
Okay, cool. Is Varun? Oh, hey, Varun.
Hey. So I missed part of the question, but I think I know what this is. Is this you have to create multiple triggers because you can't add or conditions or multiple terms? Yeah, it's coming. So the workflow builder will have it. You can do both. You will be able to add multiple or conditions to start the workflow. It should be very similar to a trigger. And we're also looking at, can we just make it possible to add multiple phrases to the triggers as they are right now? So both of those things will happen.
Cool. And do you know if that'll be in the first release of that? Is that planned, or will it be?
Yep. So with the workflow, it will be in the first release of the workflow. The trigger itself should get done much faster. So we're just waiting for some bandwidth to open up before we can assign it out to someone, but it is on the short list.
Okay, great. And workflow builder still on track for October?
Yeah.
Awesome. James is here for his weekly 2-step free line item update.
Multiple. Again, we're just waiting for someone to really get free to be able to handle it. Right now, we're at full capacity. We're hiring. We're doing everything possible to get some additional bandwidth there. But when that opens up, we will definitely hit that item.
I'll get it one of these days. Thank you.
Yeah.
We did get memberships into snapshots today, if anybody missed that video. So big things are getting done.
Oh, nice. All right, so we'll have to look on Facebook if you haven't seen. Sounds like Sean dropped a video. I have yet to see it, but make sure that you go check that out. Who's up? Will, having an issue with voicemail drop. The second call. Okay, so I know the spiel that Sean will give on this one. Sean, do you want to take it, or should I run with it?
Well, as long as the background noise isn't too bad. So there is a help article that is titled voicemail FAQ or voicemail drop, how dropbacks or something. But basically the way the voicemail drop works, and this is how all voicemail drops work, is there's a call that's made out to the number that's immediately dropped or hung up on, and then a second call is made into the number with the idea that the first call knocks the phone off the cell network, and then while the phone is recycling, the wireless carrier has no choice but to deliver the second call into voicemail. So every voicemail drop in the world works. It's effectively a hack / workaround. And at the end of the day, that's why they're 70% effective. It's not 100% effective. No cell phone carrier or phone carrier in the world wants that trick to actually work. So that's the best you're going to get. And so if 7 out of 10 isn't a good ratio for you, use text messaging instead. It's far superior.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I did review that, and I've actually had no issues with doing it with a lot of clients. This one in particular, it seems like when I test, it happens the wrong way, and then when they test with other staff, it also, like, maybe we're just 3 out of 10. It just seems like I can replicate it, so I wanted to make sure there was no issue.
Well, and okay, so things I have seen go wrong is like I've seen the audio file that sometimes people upload can be like high bandwidth audio files can sometimes not play as well or something. But I mean, there's no like 0 and 1
so
science
if it
there.
never works, we can check the audio file, but Twilio will also tell us. So if you go check the Twilio logs, they'll tell you in case there was a problem with the audio file and stuff. So as long as it's not high quality, I think it needs to be 8016 mono. That's the audio file format. And I think Robin has a video on how to convert your audio file to that format as well.
Or you can just go to record MP3 online. That also works.
Perfect. Hey, thanks guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. And if it still doesn't work, let me know. I'll have you test it on my cell phone. It always works on my cell phone. I have no idea why, but it's true.
All right. Thanks much.
All right. Next up, David, with the new Dialogflow interface, will we be able to send through quick action buttons and cards and stuff like that, or will it just be simple text?
So with the Dialogflow integration, we're working on multiple things. The first thing that will come out is just an appointment booking bot, where all you do is you pick the bot, and the bot will be able to give out some quick answers, and it'll also be able to book up people in for appointments. The second part of it, where we actually expose that as Dialogflow, which people can build bots for, we're still figuring out the details on that one. So we don't have a solid, this is how it's going to look yet. We're working with few customers to figure out how that's supposed to work. So if there's some feedback that you have there, feel free to send that our way.
So that's an interesting question, just in general, with Dialogflow. Does it support MMS? Can you put?
Oh yeah, I mean it does.
Yeah.
But he's actually speaking specifically about Messenger in this case, I think.
Yes, I was, Sean. I was thinking more of sending back JSON structures and things like that, so that we actually create the quick action buttons and cards and.
I know Dialogflow. I believe they support that, and so eventually we will support that as well. It's just about making sure that we do a good job being as conversational as possible. But I could see things as saying like, "Hey, what's your phone number?" and then just popping that quick, send my phone number button, because Facebook just makes that easy.
Yeah, that's fine, Sean. But there's so much more that Dialogflow can do than just that. Once you get into it.
That's true. Don't get me wrong. No, I mean our goal here is to support the full feature set of Dialogflow. So in the long run, if you're an advanced user and you're going to build your own Dialogflow bot, we'll give you a integration path to do that. And whatever the capabilities of Dialogflow are, we'll make sure that they're able to be exposed all the way through.
Okay, that's excellent. Is there anyone I can sort of speak to and get involved in that?
Well, I mean, our goal right now, so the vast majority of people are going to need a pre-canned solution. So, they're not going to be able to figure out how to do, they're not even understand what you're talking about, let alone how to execute it. And so our first goal is to get out sort of like, the stock default bot. that
Yes,
is
yes, I understand.
designed to do the conversational booking flow, which I think, and do some basic Q&A, which I think will float the boat for most people. And then we'll move on to sort of those more advanced use cases. You can absolutely get involved though. Varun, what's the best way for him to kind of get on the list?
I think you can ping me direct on Slack or Facebook Messenger.
Okay, I'll do that, Varun.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, next up, Jonathan. I have a campaign set up for appointment confirmation and reminder. Okay. My confirmation email gets sent out, but not the reminder emails. I have them set to send before. Okay. I use the appointment booker through HighLevel. What should I check? Sounds like you're on the right path.
Well, it's almost
Yeah,
classically
I mean,
the trigger setup.
Yeah,
It tends to be
almost always the
problem.
trigger. Yeah.
So are you triggering off the appointment being booked? So does the trigger say, when there's a new appointment, add them to this campaign?
Yeah, my trigger is when there's a customer booked appointment, then in my booking calendar, then it needs to be added to campaign, which is the booked appointments confirmed
And
plus
it does
reminder.
get added, and it does get added to the campaign. So you're telling me it does get added to the campaign. And
Yes.
then if you look at if you click the count next to that campaign and you look at the people who should have gotten the subsequent steps, what's the status on those people?
Yeah, so my confirmation email, I have 29 total delivered. And then my first one reminder email, I have 5.
So
And I
people
assume-
are getting pulled out, it sounds like.
So if you click the count, it should show you everyone in the campaign. So what's the status of those people? Does it say running, canceled? What does it say?
Okay. Where
So
am I
click
going to see
marketing campaigns, and you'll see the
Yeah.
list of the campaigns, and then
This
right
is like
next to the name.
This is like the most unknown feature, and it's yet one of the most useful. If you click the blue underlined number that next to the right of the campaign, representing all the people in it, will give you all kinds of details as to who's in there, what status they're in, when the next action is queued, if the campaign stopped, why it stopped, all kinds of good stuff.
So what I did is the way that I access something close to that is the high detail show detail, and then I click on the 29 total, and then it gives me a status of everybody that's received it.
Yep.
Okay, so I have 29 in the confirmation email, but then my first reminder email, I only have 5.
So here, do me a favor. Can you share your screen?
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
I wonder if you have the stop on reply turned on.
Yeah, that's what we'll find out here if we click on the 29.
I don't. I checked that. Here we go. Sharing.
Okay, so now go back one screen.
Okay, I got some junk in here.
Click on the count next to the campaign, the 29.
Oh, I see.
Cancel, 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 cancel. Why are these
Okay.
all canceled, Sean? Because that trigger, which is also linked that you can click on, will tell you exactly what pulled them out. So click the word trigger next to any of them that say cancel.
Okay, so I'm probably
And
getting
that's how they got
unsubscribing.
added in. That's not how they got canceled out.
Oh, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. So that's why that's what put them in. So then what canceled them? Varun.
If it isn't manual, I mean, it can only be a trigger or manual. Nothing else can cancel.
Is it possible for them to be unsubscribing? Everybody unsubscribes after the first email, which would just be crazy. It seemed, but
No. It's very unlikely. They booked an appointment with you. They're not gonna unsubscribe. There's another trigger then that must have.
Can you go to triggers?
Yeah, that's
go
a
to
good
triggers.
point. Because I imported stuff, and so I could have something active that's messing with it. I tried to turn everything to draft. I didn't want.
So confirmed appointment to intro call.
Oh, I was going to say under any action, I would have just done remove from campaign.
Yeah, at the top, you see how you can, on the right-hand side, any action, you can change that to remove from campaign, and it'll show you any triggers that are removing people from campaigns.
I've
And
never
There's none.
how about remove all?
Yeah,
remove
try
from all.
the
Remove from all
one
campaigns
right
right
above
above that. Nope.
No. So then the only other way is someone's manually pulling them out. But I can dig in deeper here and really see what's pulling them out. I
Could they
already
have,
have your
could they have
login
responded?
credentials.
Could they have
This is how I'm
responded to the
marketing.
campaign, and that they get pulled out by responding?
No, it would have said finished, and it would have had a question mark next to it, and it would have said this campaign was finished due to customer reply.
Yeah, this is how my configuration is. It's that I turned off stop and response and allow them on multiple. But
Yeah, Varun, I think is already pulling it up, and we'll see if we can get you a
sounds
quick
good.
answer.
Sweet, thank you.
All right, let's see. I'm having an issue with campaign config when I set an event date and time. It never works for me. What the heck am I doing wrong? So, Mary, let's first make sure we understand the goal of that field. So that field is like, okay, let's say your client wants to run a webinar next Friday. You set next Friday day and time, and now you can do before timing leading up to it. Is that what you're?
No, that's not what I was doing. Okay, so otherwise it's not.
You're
If
trying
I
to
thought it
make
was
that
like
campaign
after.
start at that time?
Yeah. So that's not what it's for.
Yeah, that's why you want to set the exact. Well, you could technically do that, right? You could do like, couldn't you do afters on the event start date and time? If you wanted to do that.
Well, the
You can add a
hack
before
is
step with one or 0 minutes and do after. Yeah.
exactly. So make the
What?
first one before 1 minute or before 5 minutes or something, and then it will work the way that you want.
Okay, I'll try that. Thank you.
So make the first one before 1 minute or something like that, and then the rest of them you can tee up to be after. And then it'll wait until that day and time before 1 minute, send the first one, and then you're on the right path. Alrighty. Steph, is bounce trigger hard bounce or soft bounce?
Hard bounce.
What's the difference? Can we go a little deeper with that?
I mean, a soft bounce, when you try to send an email, the provider can reject them for any variety of reasons. And a soft bounce might even be for other reasons, like maybe you've exceeded your rate limit, maybe that's throttling it, like whatever. So for the number of reasons it can bounce, but then if you're sending through Mailgun, for instance, Mailgun will continue to try to redeliver that message. And if it permanently fails, like either the email address does not exist at all, or the mail server is outright just rejecting you, then it'll permanently fail. And when that happens, it's a hard bounce.
I also think automatically after a certain number of retries, doesn't it hard bounce?
Yeah. So I mean, it retries for about 2 days, I think. But if it's not able to deliver the message at all, it permanently fails.
So if it comes back as bounced in Mailgun, then it makes sense to D&D them. Build a trigger to D&D. Yeah. Okay.
And we're actually going to do that on this Friday.
Well, that depends.
HighLevel
If you have an
how-to.
email, I mean, if you have a phone number for them as well, maybe the phone number is working, so you don't want to D&D the whole contact. We are rolling out, actually it should already be out, an update contact trigger action. So you could use something like that to update. I mean, just remove the email on that contact, but leave the phone. Maybe the phone number is still good. Something like that.
There's already an update contact.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, I didn't get this memo. I need to drop a video on these things, man.
Yeah. So it should be there. I'm just double checking that.
All of us rush to our triggers tab.
Yep. Nothing more exciting than a new trigger.
Add contact. Update contact field. Add field.
So would the
email.
Update contact kind of be like, or are we going to be able to say D&D their phone, or is this being able
to D&D?
Yeah.
Yeah, split them. So because we have people that want to have a preference center instead of just an unsubscribe, so they can say, oh, I only want announcements through text message. So we have it set a task to say okay, take their email then and put it in the notes, so then they only are contacted through text and vice versa. So it'd be nice to have maybe split D&Ds where we can say, oh, D&D their phone, D&D their email, or both.
And that's already on the list for some of the items that we want to hit. So I'll make sure that gets added. So right now, there's a separate action to just mark them DND, but this one has the first name, last name, email, phone, updating the contact source or type, all of those type of things.
Okay, I'm gonna be adding that to the list here shortly. Is there now? Is that's an action, but there's no contact updated trigger, right?
No, there isn't.
Okay.
And so if Varun, are you saying that with this action, I could set update contact field email, leave it blank, and it would strip out an existing email?
It should. So I haven't tested this out myself. With most other cases it'll work, but with the empty case, I don't know if discarding it or if
I was going to
updating
say
it.
it's dangerous. That's a dangerous precedent. You wouldn't, on most situations, you wouldn't want empty to mean strip it out.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So it
Yeah, that's
probably
why we
doesn't
set
That one
a
I'm not
task
sure,
to just put it
but
in
we
their
can
notes,
double check.
in the notes of the contact record, so we're not getting rid of it completely. And if we need it, it's still there.
Yeah,
So maybe
that's
it's
probably
something
the
like
better
that.
approach. And I think to your original point, if there was a email DND and a phone DND, that might actually do a better job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been preaching for this for a long time, Varun. Give me the short list. Okay, so wait, just because my high-level how-to is in regard to this, I just want to, we don't have a better way to do this yet, right? If somebody bounces, we're triggering, okay, email bounced, you can DND them, or maybe make a task for somebody to go strip their email and move it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ross, I'm having trouble with this trigger not activating. Any ideas? Ross, are you here? Do you want to do a quick screen share?
Yeah, I'm here. Let me share my screen. Thanks.
Sure.
Let me pull it up. There you go.
Okay, so talk to us. You're just saying nothing's happening?
This one, I mean, this trigger's been in effect for a long time. And I just noticed, let's see if I can just duplicate the screen real quick and I'll show you a contact that it should have ran on just, I think it was yesterday or today, and it's just not triggering.
Well, so first of all, Varun, tell us about what call status completed is comprised of. What would trigger that?
I mean, there's no filter on inbound or outbound call, and it's just the status. So anytime a call, an inbound or outbound call is made to that contact and it connects, it should fire.
All right, so we've got this, and this is my way of seeing if something fired, and I can also show you Zapier history. But this one right here, she called in, or we called her, had an 11-minute call, had a good long call, and in the notes, that trigger didn't fire. Then I verified it by looking in Zapier to see if.
So with the outbound call, was it a manual action or did you just dial off the dial-up?
Not a manual action, just clicked right here.
Got it. I mean, it should have still run. So just throw the contact details and the account details to me, and I'll see why it didn't run.
All right, I'll hit stop share. Tell me again, just a link to the contact and the account. Is that right?
Yeah, that should do it. Your login email and just that link that you have should be perfect.
Awesome. Thanks, Varun.
Yeah.
All right, CB, when will we be able to add variables to team members? It's been an idea as a while now. I want to have the team members Zoom link specialists. Okay, so we're talking about custom fields for users, right?
Correct.
I know it's on the list.
So are they booking an appointment or how are they?
Well, right now I'm utilizing the signature field for one of the variables, and now that the new calendar has the other fields, within the calendar, that I can put the Zoom link next to them. I'm utilizing that one. So now I have two, but the one that's signature is not working well. I mean, it seemed like as if it's bringing over code. Like I tried to have it as a hyperlink within a picture, and it comes out real crummy. Like you can see the background code in the picture now. I don't know why that's happening, but just wanted something cleaner, man. That's all.
Yeah, so that should work, which is not working well. So can you share your screen and maybe show us how you're adding it to the signature and what's the problem?
Okay, one second, please. Share screen. Let's see. Let me go and so I have a let's see. So right here, I have a picture for them to click on when they get this email. And within here, I have the user signature. But when this gets sent to them, I see that link that's there on the email and then some other code at the bottom. And then I click on it and it doesn't go there.
Got it.
It was, I get a 404.
So you're doing this because you want this link to go to a different place for each of the users in this account.
Yeah, so each one of my team members are coaches, and each coach has their own assessment link that their clients take the assessment from. So they need to click go take that assessment.
So the custom values and the opportunities is on the list, and that's something that we're looking at picking up soon. But the users, we definitely can add custom values to the users as well.
Yeah, yeah.
The way most people are achieving this now, which is kind of painful, is create a separate campaign for each coach, and in the email in each of those campaigns, just link out to that particular coach's link. And when you're adding people to the campaign, depending on which coach it's for, you add to that campaign. So if the appointment is booked on this coach's calendar, add them to this campaign. Coach B's calendar, add them to this campaign, and then have the campaign have a completely different link embedded in. So it won't be dynamic, it'll be hard coded, but it'll work. And yeah.
Gotcha. So why doesn't the signature one work? Why does it come out so I can't?
So with the signature is always stored as HTML. So even if you just put plain text in there, there will be some HTML code around it, because the signature is meant to be an HTML signature. So that's the reason that's happening. But we've also had the same type of request, I guess, come up for the calendar link, which we solved with the calendar. So I'll think through if there's some other easier way to get this to happen for you. I don't think there is, but the custom field will really be the only way to do this. But for now, the multiple campaigns is a better option.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Right. Let's see here. Ross, are we able to update imported snapshots? If so, how? So if you import a snapshot from someone, what you would want to do is put it in a sub account and then make a new snapshot of that sub account. And that, because only the person who created the snapshot can push updates into it. Does that make sense? Are you here, Ross?
That makes sense. Yeah, sorry, I was switching screens on a mobile.
Gotcha. So yeah, for you to take ownership of a snapshot that you've imported, you would need to turn it into a new snapshot of your own.
So that means if the creator of the snapshot, if they make a change on their end, I need to re-download it and start again?
Essentially, yeah, because once you clone it and make it your own, it's now disconnected from the original snapshot.
So then if we make it our own, like you just suggested, make our own snapshot from it, we can then use that for our own. Let's say it includes a funnel. If we've made changes to the funnel, we obviously don't want it to have it overwritten any of the changes we've made, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you'd make it your own. And then if the person who gave you it made changes that you wanted, you would manually take them into your own new snapshot and update them.
Got it. Okay. I think Chris had asked the question later on in this, so I was just asking for him.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. That makes sense.
All right.
Thanks,
Sure, yeah. Martin, can you give a timing update on when an order bump is connected to main order to send a single product code? As Varun said, that was happening about a month again.
So we have been working, I mean, we already did the work on that. But we ran into some limitations. So the way to make that possible was with the version of the Stripe API we were using, it wasn't possible at all. We had to run them as two separate services. But we've switched to a new version, to the latest version of the Stripe API, and it was possible there. But what we realized with that new version of the Stripe API is we need to make all of these, we need to bundle all of these products and push them in. Like we would send Stripe all the product information upfront from the client, and then we just post an order request, like a completion request from the backend. And as part of upgrading the Stripe API, we had to make this change not just in the funnels, but across the entire platform. So everything from appointments being booked to membership purchases for all of them. And the problem we ran into is with this new switch, it would create a customer in Stripe every time someone ran a card, even on a failed payment. So if you had an appointment or a membership course and someone was just putting in invalid cards one after the other, we could, once it failed once, we could bunch all of them together. But even for a person who did not sign up, you will have a customer created in Stripe just with failed payments. And for people who have a lot of volume, that's going to spam their Stripe account up. So we got stuck behind that problem, and we didn't have the bandwidth to move forward and finish that off. So it's kind of there, but we put that in cold freeze for a bit. But I think in October, we will be able to roll that back out.
Okay, thanks.
Martin, you asked another question. Can we have a document area in each location so we can have document storage?
Yeah, this is something that we're looking at. So is this user uploaded content, or is this content that you want to upload so the location user has access?
Yeah, it would be for the location user. So almost like in a snapshot, they get funnels, campaigns, but they also get a document storage area with some PDFs, forms.
That makes sense. And where would they use this? Is this content they would attach to emails, SMSs, to messages they send out, or is this just for their reference?
Both, really. It would be, both. So
cool.
So it could be training manuals for them. So it's kind of like, so they can revisit what they have to do, but it could also be a presentation, PowerPoint or a PDF that they would send to a potential prospect as well.
What do you think, Varun? Is this something that's already in the map? Is this an ideas board thing?
Ideas board is a better way to get it done, because I'm making a note of it because it's an interesting idea, but it needs to get grouped into some larger story we're working on to get out there. But if you get it on the ideas list and it gets a lot of votes, then we do this just because, for just doing this. So that's the faster way, but I'm still adding that in because it's a good idea. And I can see it being useful in a lot of other ways. Even with the bot flows and stuff we're working on, if someone asks for a pricing document or something and there's a PDF that the bot can just send out, it would be nice. So I'm making a note of it anyway, but the ideas list is a better way for sure.
Okay, I'll put it up as an idea. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mary, when are the high-level how-tos? They are now Fridays in a new time slot, 2 p.m. Central. Or maybe that's the same slot. I'm just in East Coast time now, so my calendar's a little different. 2 p.m. Central. The videos go into our YouTube channel and they get posted out in the weekly roundup. Did I hear something earlier about a voicemail trigger? So Nicole, the voicemail drop, as we like to call them, is an event that you can add in campaigns. So when you create a campaign, when you click add an event, there's one that says voicemail, you upload a file. When a lead hits that, their phone buzzes. It says they have a voicemail. They didn't get a call. It's pretty cool. Does it say you have a missed call and a voicemail, or just a voicemail?
It'll say both.
Okay. So they're very cool, very powerful. It is a bit of a hack. They work about 70% of the time. You'll see that disclaimer, but they're pretty neat. Jane,
Okay. I have a trigger that's not firing correctly when there's a voicemail. That's all.
oh, you're talking about a call
That's all right. Let me
status
look into that. Let me see if I can
trigger.
mark it.
Gotcha. So this is another call status trigger deal, Varun. Seems like, what is the best way to troubleshoot those?
With the call status, I mean, the only way is to send it into the dev team. So with the call status trigger, is this an outbound call you're making from the system?
No, this is incoming that wants to leave a voicemail, and we want to send a sorry we missed your call SMS.
And I assume the voicemail is being left, correct?
Yes.
Awesome.
Cool. So I will run that down. So with the voicemail, I know that the voicemail status trigger works. When you make an outbound call and there's a call disposition window that comes up after the call and you hit voicemail, that trigger runs. But on the inbound, when they leave a voicemail, it should work, but maybe we've missed something there. So I will run that down and get back to you.
Thank you. Yes, it gives us a missed call status instead of a voicemail status. I mean, I'm sorry, it connect. When it hits the voicemail, it gives us a connect. And I spoke to Kate and we put a 20-second delay. But we're not sure if that's working correctly either. So
Wait a second. Whose voicemail message are you hearing? Is it the voicemail message from our system, or is it the voicemail message from the phone number we're calling?
The phone number we're calling. Or they're calling us.
Okay, so that's the problem. It has to be our voicemail that gets hit. So do you have so here, watch. Do you have like a voicemail? Hold on, let me open someone else's account besides the one I've opened. Okay, cool.
So for instance, if somebody calls me, I want them to hit my voicemail.
Yep.
Get my voicemail, leave me a message, but also get an SMS that says, I'm sorry I missed your call. I'll review your voicemail.
Let's define what your voicemail is. So your voicemail in sort of our world would be the voicemail that's assigned to your user here, right? So if I come in here, call in voicemail settings, right here I can upload a voicemail message. That's how we know that the voicemail is being hit. Because if we dial out to a phone number, we have no idea what happens after that. We don't know that there's voicemail or not voicemail on the other side. We just see that as a connected call.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So there's no way for us to get the voicemail onto like my cell phone. I want them to leave the voicemail on my cell phone.
Kind of, right? So if they leave the voicemail within the system, you will still be able to listen to it. You'll see it in the conversation window. So all of those things work, but yes, it won't show up in your phone voicemail.
Okay. All right. That's what I needed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, James, curious about email links. I've seen multiple accounts where the link is broken depending on the mail client. Is this on a list of bugs to be fixed?
Yeah, so I've had
Can you,
three different
can you send me one?
Yeah, so as when I typed it, I've been trying to find it. I haven't been able to find it, so this is going to be more of a just general question then. Basically what I found was happening, this is across three different accounts. I noticed that the link was getting reformatted. There was a space, which is the %20 symbol, was being added before the HTTPS, and the colon was getting stripped for some reason. And I copied the URL many times over and over again.
If there's so if there's a £20 in there, that's not going to work, right? But that makes me think that the original link had a £20 in it.
Right. So I used plain text editor to be able to make sure it doesn't. It was still showing up, but the weird thing is it was not working for my client. But when I sent it to myself, it was working fine. So I don't know.
Okay. If you find that specific example, let's run it down that way.
I'll do that. Yeah, I was just
There's
curious if that was on the
known
list.
issues that I'm aware of.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I was wondering. Awesome.
Okay. It looks like Charles isn't here anymore. RJ, are there any plans for a project management system within Go HighLevel?
I mean, previously this was on the list of something we might have touched next year, but now I think we've doubled down on our focus of lead to customer. So we really need to run out of all items there before we jump into something like that. And all items there is still a long list. There's a ton of channels for us to hit. There's a ton of different providers for us to integrate with. There's a ton of bots to build. There's a lot of stuff to do in lead to customer and just solving that nurture for everyone. But once that's done, these are the type of items I think we'll pick up next.
Did we get a trigger yet that will trigger out to like Asana or something? So a task trigger, is that already live and I missed it? All right, thanks, James.
So there is a task trigger, but do you want to send out an API request, or is this for when a new task is added?
When a new task is added, then
that should be live.
Okay. All right.
It works perfectly. I've tested it and hooked it up to my Asana already.
You and I have been wanting this for a while.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
I mean,
why didn't you tell me?
we'd love to be all things. We'd love to be all things to all people, but I think that in the long term, if everyone just says, "Oh, my clients love your system because you double or triple their sales," we'll just be happy with that. We'll just stop right there. So someone else can like, "Ooh, you're really great at organizing tasks and getting teams to do stuff." We don't care if that's never us. We just want to triple people's sales because we kind of think that's what people care about more than task management.
Yep.
But it sounds like we did create the trigger that will allow you to, upon new task creation,
that's probably a
webhook it
place
up.
where over time we may just actually have stronger integration points. That might be a situation where we might bring a native integration to Asana or Monday.com or whatever into the app, just because that's just a territory that I don't think that we should go into.
Gotcha.
Perfect.
Yeah, it would be a long road to catch ClickUp. Those guys are insane.
Thanks, guys. By the way, the triggers are already good.
Thanks. Well, don't worry. We'll keep adding more.
Yeah.
David, would it be possible to have a video upload button in the funnel page builder like in membership so we can upload video for funnel pages?
Yeah, so we're working backwards on this. So with the videos in the memberships, we're working on a couple of items there, making the videos adaptive bitrate and also doing some progress tracking on the videos, like how much of the video was watched, being able to add, if you have multiple posts in your post, make sure that the next one's available only after they watch 80% of the previous videos, stuff like that. Once that's fully done, we'll bring all of that functionality to the funnels as well. So you will be able to upload videos. You will be able to say, if once they watch the video, once they've watched a certain portion of the video, show a button, all of those types of actions.
Cool. CB, is there a way to send an email to a client and ask them to fill out a form? They would hit a link in the email to do that. Could the form be pre-populated? Yes, it sounds like you're trying to build the automated survey flow, and I'm going to throw the link
a video
to
for that.
the video, and there's a video for that. So here it comes. So I just threw it into chat, CB.
Just to expand that question really quick. So again, my team members are coaches, right? So after they do the meeting with their client, I need them to click on a link that's on their email to get to that survey and have that client's information already there so that they don't mess it up and try to type something different.
That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you can do it automatically off the back of the appointment.
Boom. All right, I'll check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, you'll love it.
Can we do similar things to that, Sean, with just straightforward funnel pages rather than just in forms themselves? Like take the UTM parameters and use them somewhere inside the content on a funnel page.
Oh, these are custom fields on a funnel page is what this is, right?
Yeah, I was meaning just taking parameters from the URL and passing them into a funnel page so we can customize the funnel page.
Yeah, so you're like, hi, thank you for your interest in, and then like service equals HVAC, and it says HVAC,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think this is in the list somewhere, right, Vern?
Yeah.
That's not very expansive, but I do know we have it on the list. I would say in general, a lot of these smaller items are just being held up behind the email builder, the workflow builder, and the automated appointment booking and AI integration, which most of this is I mean, we have teams working in every single category all the time. I think right now on the funnel, which is kind of where this sits, what is the roadmap right now for the funnel, Vern? Like, what are the next 1 or 2 items they're working on?
Right now, the big item that we're working on is just themes. So we're adding a couple more elements like the image pop-up and the video pop-up, but also just going back and adding themes. Right now, if you drag a button in or a progress bar in, there's only one version of it, and that version's not that great. So giving people a bunch of possible options so they're able to build these easier. But after that, it's split testing. And after split testing, we'll have to start adding more items in there.
So there you go. So once you see split testing drop, you know we'll be on to the next items.
Hey guys, I have a quick question.
Fire away.
Just on the appointments survey, Chase, in the video that you had last time, I was trying to find a workaround, and I chatted with Sarah in support, but I don't think we found an actual workaround. It would be, since we're removing the involvement for the client, and I know the appointment survey works great, that goes out to them, but how could we do it if we don't have anyone confirming the appointments? So how can we work around just, let's say somebody books an appointment for Sunday next week. Obviously, I can't set a specific timer for the campaign to start and trigger that survey after a certain amount of time, because I never know when they're going to book. They could book 2 days in advance, 4 days in advance, or a week in advance. What would be the best way, or what workaround could we have in order to send, even if someone's not confirming the appointments, but they were just booked by the lead or the customer?
Yeah, it's the same thing. So like Sean said, you want to piggyback it off of the appointment reminder campaign. This is what we typically do. So I'm assuming you have a flow set up. So if someone makes an appointment the day before, an hour before, whatever, they're getting notifications, right?
Not exactly, because we're actually, in our case, we're doing soft appointments. So the one that's confirming would be on our client's end, and they would have to reach out to the lead. But again, in our case, they're not using the platform. They're just using that as an opportunity.
So I'm guessing, Alan, the appointment gets booked inside Service Titan, right?
No, not in this case. They will be using the calendar from HighLevel.
I got it. So someone books an appointment off the website, and after they book the appointment, the client actually calls them to confirm the time. It might be at the same time, or they might move the appointment around.
Correct.
Yeah. And are they moving the appointment inside HighLevel?
They are not. That's the caveat, right? So some of them will probably not do it. Some of them will, and obviously we know how to do it when they do. But if they have no involvement in the platform, is there a way that we can potentially set, say after appointment is booked or after the date of the appointment, send out the appointment survey 48 hours?
We can. So I just want to dig a little deeper on that. So when you say they don't change it, it's not that they're changing it in any other platform. They're just not changing it anywhere at all. They just move the appointment to a time that they're comfortable with, and they just make a note of it on their notepad or something, and they move on.
Correct.
Got it. Yeah. So we can do what Chase was talking about, where when the appointment gets booked in, you can add them to a campaign. In that campaign, 5 minutes before the appointment or a minute before the appointment, you can have a step in there. And that step doesn't have to do anything. It can be like a Facebook Messenger step, which will never execute because that contact does not have Facebook Messenger. So it's a placeholder. So no actual text or reminder will go out to that person. But 2 hours or 3 hours after that appointment time, you can send the survey link and have them fill out that survey. So that way the system never reaches out to them before the appointment, but 2 or 3 hours after that original appointment time, this link will be sent out.
That should work flawlessly. I didn't think about that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Awesome.
guys.
You got it. Tejas, I had a question with round robin campaign.
Jonathan, is Jonathan still here? He had the appointment question. I guess not. So I'll reach out to him.
Tejas, fire away.
Hey guys, it's actually Tejas.
Tejas, sorry.
It's all good. Question for the round robin. I'm trying to understand the difference. Basically, so there's an option where I know in the video you guys are recommending that you create a campaign first, and then you assign, when the lead gets assigned to the campaign, at that time inside the campaign, you do the round robin, right? But I think I figured it out, but my clients wanted an email sent out for each salespeople every time they get a lead, right? So what I did was when a contact tags get created, then that's when I was assigning it to the user, and then under there, because you have an option as well, right, that you can assign to all users and only assign to like split it equally, right? So I was doing it that way. And for some reason, what ended up was happening was people were getting each other's lead. Like, so they will see the lead was assigned to somebody else, but the contact information was going for salesperson 2, for example. So I was running into that problem. And I think so yesterday I changed it to basically how you guys were suggesting it, that when add the contact to the campaign first, and then from the campaign, split the leads, and then you send the email, right? So I'm just trying to understand what is the purpose of then this trigger.
No, so that trigger action should also work. So in that trigger, on form submission, what was the trigger based on? It was a form submission.
Am I able to share my screen?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, 1 second, let me do that. So basically, before I was using this.
Yeah, okay, on contact tag, assigned to user, you have a bunch of users split equally.
Yeah.
Okay, only apply to unassigned contacts. Okay.
And then I was adding it to opportunities, and then obviously I was sending out email. So because of this, what used to happen was people were seeing each other leads. If the lead was assigned to salesperson 1, the contact information will go out from salesperson 2, right? So they were getting frustrated. So what I did yesterday was I changed it to this, but I was just trying to understand what did I do wrong.
No, so the trigger that you have set up should have worked. The contact tag trigger that you had should have worked.
It should have worked. So let me show you some
example. It should have.
Because give me 1 second.
But with this, I can actually dig in and see what happened with one of these flows. But it takes about 20 or 30 minutes. So the best thing would be to just send me all of your account details. So send me the name of the lead that it happened to and the trigger's name and your login email. Just Slack it to me and I can.
Sure, yeah, I can send you that. It happened to a few different leads.
So just a couple of examples will be good. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. I did open a ticket as well.
Then just the ticket number is perfect.
I don't think I got a ticket number, but I was in the chat. I'll ask them to maybe give me a ticket number and send it to you, Warren, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Charles, are there any plans on rolling out connection prompts? Press 1 to accept, 2 to send a voicemail as an option on all Twilio numbers. I'm referring to the same feature that's available now via forced calls within a campaign being made available as a configuration option for Twilio numbers. I'm running into a case where a client's Twilio number is forwarding to his cell and he's getting calls outside of office numbers without an option to push to a branded voicemail setup in the system.
I can try to unpack that if my connection, I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, I'm just, how would he know to be able to screen it without answering it first though?
No, but what's happening is he's picking up the call and it's basically transferring it blind, right? There's a whisper that's happening, but in his particular case, he received a call, let's say at 9:30 at night from someone who called from an SMS and he didn't know where it was coming from. So he didn't answer it professionally and he was really disappointed. So he's like, is there a way that, you guys can, give me an option to press 1 to accept the call or press 2 to send it to voicemail? Similar to when a forced call is being made within a campaign.
But doesn't the whisper message solve for that?
Yeah, but the whisper.
But I guess he doesn't want to answer it, but there's no way for him to decide what to do with the call after that, right? He has to take the call. I think yeah.
So in this particular case, he was at a restaurant. It was really noisy. and the call came in. He's like, shit, like it didn't really sound professional. And I think it's not necessarily a huge case, but I was just wondering, since that feature already exists within forced calls, if it was something that was planned on being rolled out as a configuration option with Twilio numbers. CallRail gives
I
us
mean,
that
not
option.
yet. So you're the first person to ask for it. So again, the ideas list is
Oh, but
the
also,
fastest
I
way.
mean, the other piece there, Vern, is inbound calling on the, once we have inbound calling on the mobile app, it would solve for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
Okay.
is probably closer to happening than that version.
So then he just have to open up the mobile app and.
Well, no, he'd just look at his phone and be like, oh, that's the mobile app ringing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I know that's my second line essentially. And then he could determine what he wants to do.
Yeah, that would definitely solve the issue, I think. Okay. Yeah. But the number is still going to forward to his end. It's still going to do a blind transfer, right?
No, that's the idea. So now the call, once we have inbound calling in the app's ringing, right? There's no forward there. It's just a straight up VoIP call being routed to his cell phone. It's not his normal dialer that's ringing. It's the app. So he knows, okay, this is a business call. Pick it up or don't pick it up.
Okay. Because the second use case was like, for instance, if a voicemail is left within his main office number and he calls back, it's like, where did the lead come from? Is it from you, or is, the guy just picked up the phone? Like, he treats it differently. That's where the other second use case was.
Well, so so if he so he gets his voicemail and he's trying to figure out, I've gotten a voicemail on my cell phone.
Yep.
Who am I calling back, right?
Exactly.
I think for us, what we would say is that's why we're putting why we have voicemail in the system. So the way I anticipate, like for myself, like if somebody calls me professionally, I have my professional HighLevel voicemail, right? And it'll also ring the app on my phone. So now I'm going to say, oh, not only is that a call, okay, maybe I'm not available to answer it. And then what voicemail is going to get hit? It's going to be the HighLevel voicemail that gets hit. It's left in my HighLevel voicemail, so I know exactly where it came from. I can see the contact record in there. I can listen to the voicemail in there. And when I call them back, I know essentially how I'm calling them back or why.
Okay, perfect. I think it makes
Charles,
sense.
you are aware that you can create voicemail in HighLevel, right? I think that might be the.
Set up.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know if we're doing something wrong here. It's just that, the call route is it's going to the Twilio number. Twilio number is going to like his office number. If it's transferred blindly, the message is being left in his office number. So maybe we have to set the timeout differently. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. But there's two use cases. One's a live answer, and that one is going to need the inbound calling. But the voicemail works today. But yeah, a lot of times all that we're doing is we're ringing that line until we hit the timeout. And the problem is if his voicemail picks up before the timeout occurs, the call's completed, right? So just choke that timeout back.
Okay. All right, perfect. Makes sense.
Awesome.
Charles, you're in Sailida?
Yeah.
For how
long? Here for another month and a half. Been here for the last 2 months.
Oh, I live in Bucerias, but really? I'm back on the East Coast visiting my family, but yeah, I'll be back on September 25th. We should link up.
Yeah, definitely. Sure.
Shoot me an email, chase@gohighlevel.com.
Perfect. Will do. Thanks.
All right. So we've hit the hour. I know we have a couple of questions in here, but I think everybody's got to get on to their next calls. So if you didn't get your question answered and it's urgent, definitely just shoot us a message at support@gohighlevel.com and we'll be happy to hop on it. Or if not, we have daily Q&As you can jump on, or we'll see you back here next week. Hope everybody has a good one. Thanks for hopping on. Bye, everyone.